there are some behaviors that you've identified yourself as being hurtful, questionable. You say you've hurt friends, you've strangled, stabbed, shackled, drugged friends across your life.
Yes, sir, yes.
You say that you've chewed your own forearms, that you shave them in order to do that, right?
Yeah, yes, sir.
You were in the military.
I was in the military Marine boot camp for
Right.
a couple of months, and the stress got to me, and I engaged in what I call auto-cannibalism, essentially.
Right. So what were you doing? You describe what you were doing. You say chewing your own forearms.
Yes, I was under extreme stress, and so I resorted to actually biting on my forearms and marking them up pretty terribly at the time.
Were you taking chunks out of them or biting them? Or what?
Small chunks, we'll say, yes. Okay. And I was definitely a few deep bite marks.
Yeah.
Yes.
The chunks you got out, did you chew them up or spit them out?
I recall probably swallowing them, I would say. And
so you were eating your own flesh?
Yes, it was, like I say, a case of auto-cannibalism.
Yeah. And you said you drank blood.
Right, yes.
Where'd you get the blood?
That was a mutual arrangement with a friend of mine, and it was a ritual drinking of blood.
And how did they get the blood to give you?
We sliced each other with razor blades.
And drained blood into a...
And we basically spilled some blood into our cocktails and basically smeared it on each other in a ritual fashion.
Uh-huh. Man or woman?
Man.
Uh-huh. And you have a sister.
Yes, sir.
Jennifer?
Jennifer, yes.
And you've painted stick figures with Jennifer's blood.
I have in the past.
Where did you get her blood?
That was a spontaneous nosebleed in that case.
Okay.
Yes.
Now you've had thoughts of friends disappearing and a prostitute's head, beheading a prostitute, right?
Yes, these thoughts have come into my mind.
Okay. You choked your ex and threatened to decapitate.
That was the case, yes.
In fact, you said, I know how to do this. You told her, I know how to cut a head off.
Yeah, I made that clear at the time.
Okay. What was your objective in telling her that?
There's no logic to it. It was insanity.
Did you want to scare her?
But partly, yes. And I remember also, according to the police report, that because she had ordered the wrong Chinese food, and obviously that's not logical. So.
Yeah. Were you drunk?
Yes, and blackout point.
Now, you've pulled a knife on your sister Jennifer, and was this when she was holding her child?
I believe she was holding her child at the time to protect the child, I suppose. Not that I was any threat to the baby, but that's how she perceived it. I mean,
she says you had a Crocodile Dundee type knife, and you had her and the child cornered, and she had to talk you down.
She did have to talk me down, and that was a situation there as well.
You talk about this like you're ordering lunch. Yeah, I had her cornered. You don't seem to be remorseful about it. You talk about it in a very matter-of-fact way.
I think I'm more sociopathic than I like to admit, to be honest with you.
You've had restraining orders from parents, uncles, ex. You said you've had too many to count.
Yeah, I can't count that high, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I actually read that in the book that you've written about this, and it almost seemed to me like you were bragging about it. There were so many. It's like I've got a big number here, so maybe I can't even count them.
Well, it's amusing to me, and I have a very morbid sense of humor, clearly.
So what are your triggers? Well, alcohol's one.
Alcohol's a primary trigger, the fuel, we'll say.
Yeah. Jennifer a trigger?
Yes, she has been a trigger for me.
You ever killed anybody?
No, thankfully I haven't crossed that line, and but I want to get across here.
Have you ever hurt anyone?
I've hurt people, I guess, in relation to what we're discussing here. But in general, I've tried to keep to myself so I can avoid doing any more damage.